What's up, and welcome to SGPN's A Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog Pick 'em plays for Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. Let's finish this month out with another winning slip. We hit a winner on Monday. We hit a winner on Tuesday. Let's do it again today. And if you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with promo code DailyDog for a 50% deposit match bonus worth up to $250. So if you do take advantage of that promo, use that promo fund on those promo funds on this slip if you want, or you can use it on daily fantasy. You can use it on best ball fantasy for the NFL season if you're into that type of thing. It's definitely worth using these promotions when they're available. If you're a guy who likes to bet on sports or someone who is doing these pick'em contests on other sites, you might as well do it on Underdog and take advantage of the free money they are offering. All right, before I get into the picks for today, I'm going to get a little bit into the trade deadline. It's kind of funny. A lot of people just poo-poo all the moves like, oh, that was bad value. Oh, that guy's not actually that good. That guy's not going to help. I actually think for the most part, pretty much every team did really well. I think maybe I can get behind the idea that the Astros gave up a little bit too much for Yusei Kikuchi, who's a very volatile pitcher. A lot of strikeouts, a lot of home runs. I don't know if that's necessarily what they need in the postseason. Obviously, in the playoffs, the teams that they're going to be facing, if the Astros actually make the playoffs, are going to be pretty good batters. They're going to be guys that can drive the long ball. So I don't know if I necessarily want like a high variance guy like Kikuchi, especially when you're giving up guys like, Loperfido, who's got a lot of promise. He's going to be probably a really good player one day in this league. But whatever. I'm not really one to poo-poo these moves. Kikuchi could be awesome. And I think, people are like, oh, I don't know if Brian De La Cruz is enough for the Pirates. And I don't know if Isaiah Kiner does anything for the Pirates. The Pirates' offensive problems are that the floor was really low. So, they've got good pitching, and they have a couple stars, but they're all hit or miss. Basically the most consistent guy on that team is Brian Reynolds. O'Neal Cruz goes, once every 4 games, he'll hit a ball faster than the speed of light, but then he'll fall off a little bit here and there. So I think getting one, Brian De La Cruz, who's another guy who can hit for power, and he doesn't have to be in the top of the order like he did for the Marlins. And a guy like Isaiah Kiner, who's got the best batting average on the Pirates already right now. I think that definitely makes a positive impact on that team. But why am I even getting this? Because since the 26th of July, so 5 days ago, there have been 11 starting batters traded. 9 of those 11 starting batters have a hit in their first game with the team. All 9 of those guys that got a hit with their first game with their new team that they start, I should say start, because Winker came in as a pinch hitter and he didn't do anything really in his first game with the team. But his first start with the team, he took care of business, got a hit. So the guys when they get the first hit, all 9 of those actually went higher than 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs as well. So if you like those markets, maybe keep that in the back of your mind. A lot of guys want to impress on a new team. A lot of guys feel relieved when they're on a new team. A lot of guys feel good when they're on a new team. Actually, only the two guys that didn't get a hit in their first game were Miguel Vargas, who's not necessarily a star in this league for the White Sox. He went 0 for 4 in game 1 with his new team against the Royals. And Isaac Paredes of the Cubs now went 0 for 4 against the Reds in his first game with his new team. That said, I didn't even get through all my stats. Sorry, before I get to my picks. So 5 of the guys donged already with their new team. 2 did it in their first game, which is Tommy Pham and Christopher Morel, the guy that got traded for Paredes, ironically. And then one guy got a hit home run in game 2. He actually got 2. That was Jazz Chisholm. One got a home run in their third game with the team, which was Randy Arozarena. And one got a home run in their fourth game with the team, which was Austin Hayes joining the Phillies. I'm not necessarily just saying, put all the new guys on their dong squad, but there are definitely some guys who are going to be making some debuts on Wednesday that you might want to keep an eye on when those numbers get up on Underdog. So that said, my first pick is actually going to involve a guy who did not get a hit in his first start with his new team. That guy is going to be Isaac Paredes. And I should also say, if you want to look at some of these stats I compiled for all the guys on their new teams, go to my Twitter at Britton Hess, BrittonHess. I've got a tweet that has it all listed, and it's kind of long, a lot of emojis and all that stuff, so it's easy to see. But back to Isaac Paredes. So he went 0 for 4 in his first game with the Cubs, and he's facing Nick Lodolo, really talented lefty for the Reds today. That said, his total base number is half, He just needs to get a hit in this game versus the Reds. Lodolo is obviously very good, but Paredes is obviously better at hitting lefties than righties. He's batting about 280 versus lefties, so it's not anything super elite. But that said, I think he's got to feel a little bit of embarrassment going 0 for 4 in Game 1 in a game where the Cubs really could have used some offense when they lost 6-3 in his debut. It's really just comes down to, like, he's on his new team. He wants to show these guys that, he replaced their friend, their teammate, Christopher Morel. He can contribute, and he only needs a half a base. He only needs a single hit in this game. I think that's definitely doable for a guy who was batting top 3 of the order regularly for the Rays. And I would be very surprised if he doesn't get it here. And again, he's better against lefties than righties, so Lodolo helps. And then obviously the bullpen will get involved in this game later on. So he will have plenty of opportunities. Hopefully he can get 5 at-bats in this game, batting 4th. He should be batting cleanup, at least that's what I'm assuming. So, get a couple ducks on the pond and let him drive them in. Next, we are going to Kevin Pillar of the Angels, higher than 1.5 total bases versus Kyle Freeland and the Rockies. 1.5 total bases at a 1.25x multiplier. That seemed so out of line to me. He's got higher than 1.5 total bases in his last 3 games start. He's a guy who's batting 287 and slugging 481 for the season. But when you look at his split versus lefties, like Kyle Freeland, he's batting 375 and slugging 625. That's like really elite. That's a really elite slugging number. So he is making great contact versus lefties. And lucky for him, Kyle Freeland has given up a ton of contact lately. He had a little bit of an injury-plagued season since he's been back. It's been mostly bad. In his last 5 starts, he's allowed 8 hits, 5 hits, 8 hits, 7 hits, 7 hits. If he's giving up hits like that, I'm assuming that Kevin Pillar is going to get at least one of them. And with his slugging numbers, it could be a double. But also, he's a guy who gets multi-hits in a game plenty of times. He's gotten multi-hits in like 2 of his last 3 games. So, again, I think that this number is just out of line. A 1.25x multiplier does not make much sense for a guy that is in his preferred matchup, a matchup that he's a league leader. He is among the league leaders with. So, I'm going to be taking Isaac Paredes higher than half a total base and Kevin Pillar higher than 1.5 total bases. These two plays together yield a 3.18x return on your money, which is a great value. And that's what I mean. Like I said, the Pillar number just totally blows my mind. The multiplier for Paredes at the time of this recording is 0.85x. I could see that one definitely going down, and I think Pilar's is definitely going to go down when more people are running their numbers and looking at what Underdog has on the board. This is not a streak play. I decided to just, maybe I'll do a streak on social media. Maybe I'll do it through YouTube Shorts or something like that. But the menu is a little bit shorter, and you kind of can only play flat multipliers, and you can only risk a max of $10, which is not something for everyone. And you can also only do the streak thing on Underdog on iOS right now. So if you don't have an iPhone, I don't want to leave you out. So this is just a standard play, and it's a 3.18x multiplier. All right, now the Dong Squad, everyone's favorite part of the day, my picks to hit home runs. I've somehow miraculously managed to be fairly profitable doing this, which is a nearly impossible feat, because obviously home runs are a very high variance market to bet into on a regular basis. That said, I usually start by looking at the pitchers and then picking the guys that I want to go yard against them from there. Starting at Brian Bello of the Red Sox. Dude has been getting slapped all around the yard lately. And there's a guy named Cal Raleigh for the Mariners who basically is just out there to swing as hard as he can, and he's a switch hitter and go yard. And also the wind in this game at Fenway is going to be the highest that it has been so far in this series. It should be over 15 miles per hour at the start of this game out to left field over that green monster. So wind blowing out, Cal Raleigh against a pitcher who's allowing hard contact. I will take that, and I'll start my slip off with that fairly easy one. Next, I am going to Shohei Ohtani. He's against Dylan Cease. Why would I want a guy to get a home run versus Dylan Cease? Dylan Cease just threw a no-hitter. Well, if you haven't been following baseball long, you're not really familiar with the fact that a lot of guys fall off the map after throwing a no-hitter. They're so high, they feel untouchable, and then all of a sudden they get a little cocky and people take advantage of it. Obviously, there's some exceptions to that, but I mean, Shohei Ohtani's number, when I was actually writing down like my picks for this show, it was a 2.25x multiplier, which you'll basically never see a number that high versus a righty for Shohei Ohtani. By the time I actually hit enter and started recording the slip, it was down to 2x, but that's still fine. Shohei has 2 home runs versus Cease in 11 at-bats in his career. There's going to be wind blowing out at San Diego. That park is obviously not really the most wind-affected park there is, but it's better when the wind's going out than going in. That is for sure. So I am happy to have Shohei on this slip. I usually can't really justify putting him on there because his multiplier is sometimes down to like 1.25x, which is crazy for a home run pick. So the first two are Cal Raleigh and Shohei Ohtani. Lastly, we're going to Heliot Ramos versus Ross Stripling and those Oakland Athletics. 4.75x multiplier. When like Matt Chapman's a 3x, Mike Yastrzemski's a 3.5x, I don't know how Ramos is a 4.75x multiplier. It was just too good a value. He is an elite power hitter. He is going to be a big name in this league if he keeps up the type of power production he's had this year. And Ross Stripling, is not that good. He doesn't necessarily give up a ton of home runs, but he gives up enough for me to feel confident with this pick. And again, just given what his multiplier was compared to some of his teammates who, like Mike Yastrzemski, who's not the power hitter that Heliot Ramos is, I am happy to put it on the slip. And so besides having two fairly chalky guys on this slip, the fact that we have Heliot Ramos on there at a 4.75x multiplier really raises things up. So if this goes 3 for 3, you get 64.12x return on your money. If it goes 2 out of 3, you get 10.68x return on your money. As always, I don't recommend betting big on the Dong Squad. It's just kind of a fun little couple bucks here and there thing you should be doing. It definitely should not be a significant part of your bankroll. That said, you can do what you want. It's your money. But I do recommend risking much more on the show slip on a regular basis just because there's so much less variance in those plays. That's all I've got for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and let's make some money.